The Chicago Bears have a whole grocery list of players that they might need to look at during the combine and in free agency. Here, we're going to go about 20 or so over, and I'm going to definitely show you some ones that you definitely should be watching for the Chicago Bears. And we're also going to check out my mock draft 1.0 right before the combine later on today here on Mind on Bears. What's good, Bears fans? Bear down, mom gang. What's happening, man? We've been doing our thing, growing big time on this channel. Man, oh man, we're looking for so much more from this team, and I can't wait to give them as much help as possible. Last year, put out my draft video, my combine video, and this year we're doing the same thing. Here, as you can tell, we're starting off with Caleb Banks. Caleb Banks is one of those players that I definitely see getting grabbed up within the top 15, if not the top 5 to 10. But also I see him possibly dropping because of some of these mock drafts have went as well. And I understand that Caleb Banks is a player that is extremely talented. He has a lot going on with himself, huge frame. He actually makes a lot of plays when the ball is already snapped before the quarterback even understands what's happening, if you know what I mean by that. So while the ball is in midair, transferring between the center and the quarterback, Banks is already choosing what to do. He has the plan. He knows exactly what he wants to do. He's able to change up and do a few different things. But Banks is definitely one of those players that I feel will be hopefully dropping down to the Bears. If not, then hey, the Bears might not be able to grab up Banks at this point in time because I doubt he'll be down there at, what is that, pick number 25? So overall, this is definitely a hopeful for Bears fans. Right here, we have Rueben Bain Jr. Now, I understand. A lot of y'all are looking at me like, yo, Murdoch, what are you doing? You're tripping. You tripping. Rueben Bain will never drop. Not at this point in time. Let me know about it in the comments below. I definitely don't have any problem talking with you all about it. It's going to be fun to see what these teams get, and where these kids go anyway. Rueben Bain has short arms, and a lot of people like to go with people with arms, and we just saw how it was for a tackle, left tackle that is, Will Campbell, in the Super Bowl with little arms. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Bain can stay up there too. He's a very talented athlete. He has a lot of different moves. A lot of interviews today during the combine, he really showed a lot of good personality, and he showed that really on any team, he'll be able to be a great asset for that team. So Rueben Bain possibly dropping to the Bears for that edge support to help out Montez Sweat will be great, because I truly see the Bears having a real opportunity to just make the whole defense younger and way better just by this draft alone. Period, point blank. Moving along to Peter Woods. Peter Woods is one of those players that I think he might go off the board first. Seriously, we're definitely going to have to see how he does during the combine and his pro day, just like Banks. But I will say, if he drops down to the Bears, there's no way we can't just somersault over there and go get this. This kid is extremely talented when it comes down to being defensive tackle, disruptor. He is quick step. One thing I will say, just like Rueben Bain, that may also make him drop will be his arms. His arms are pretty small. For a defensive tackle, you're looking for him to have just a little bit more length so that he can kind of disengage. Sometimes he gets swallowed up at times inside of that pocket, and he's not necessarily able to disturb the quarterback's cadence, or really not the cadence, but what the quarterback is doing back there in the backfield. So realistically, I'm looking forward to seeing what he has in the drills, and then after the drills, we'll know exactly what Peter Woods has. But these are some of my hopefuls to maybe drop to the Bears in the first round with their pick number 25. Now moving on to where a lot of experts and a lot of mock drafts have us stouted to get, which is Kayden McDonald. Kayden McDonald is one of those players, when I look at his tape, I see him having a ceiling that's not that far from touching, which means in about 2 to 3 years, he's maxed out everything. He maxed out all his stats. You're basically done with his player build, which means he could potentially be goated, right, to a certain extent. I look at him kind of a Jalen Carter type of potential, but that's the peak. What Jalen Carter is, well, last year, what he was, that's kind of McDonald's top potential, which is great. But for the Chicago Bears, I feel like they should make a different move because of the influence by Montez Sweat with other players on the Bears team. So I can kind of see that gelling off with this next player and it potentially being a dime a dozen great move for our franchise, and we can really make a step forward. McDonald is a player that we can put in there right now and get the thing going, but overall, I'm thinking about the future as well of this team for the Chicago Bears. With pick number 25, the Chicago Bears select Lee Hunter, defensive tackle, Texas Tech. If you guys are, if anyone, ladies, gentlemen, anyone at all is looking at Texas Tech this year, you'll see David Bailey, one of the top picks in this draft, was on that team, along with a few other players like Jacob Rodriguez, also that I'll be talking about today. I think Texas Tech had the best defense personally, especially how they gelled on that team, the way that those players work together. I believe if you're able to get two Texas Tech players on the same squad, you're able to really do some magic. So starting off right here, I can see easily the Bears picking Lee Hunter. Lee Hunter taking after the Javon Dexter, a.k.a. George Pickens type of thing, where their build was a certain way, and then once they got with Montez Sweat, they end up getting more bulkier, they got stronger, more muscular tone, and they were able to move different. I see that for Hunter, because Hunter, I see his ceiling being way higher than McDonald, because Hunter right now looks like he's not that far from McDonald. So at the end of the day, I feel like if we were to grab up Hunter, be able to utilize what he has in his skills, that would definitely work out for the Chicago Bears to get that penetration within the line. And I can easily see that with the later acquisitions on the edge, or maybe in free agency with someone else and not Max Crosby at this point in time, because I would love to keep DJ Moore on this team. He's a key asset. He's the Packer killer for us. I truly see that we can do some things with this young squad on defense. The offense went young. Why not? Let's go young with defense. Pick number 25, Lee Hunter. Beautiful asset for us. Big time, man. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what he does on this team if we actually get him. But whoever gets him, they're going to have themselves a wonderful, wonderful athlete. And I can't wait to see him in the combine. Moving along to the second pick in the draft, the Chicago Bears. I understand that looking at this draft after doing so many simulations, that in the second round, linebackers are going like crazy. They are flying back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You just see them flying off. And there's really not that many that are peak. This guy right here, oh boy, Jacob Rodriguez, he was supposed to be a Heisman candidate. Okay, he just got snuffed, period, point blank. He's always getting turnovers. Chicago's all about turnovers, period, point blank. We're about getting those turnovers. We need a kid like this. This is a kid that can actually take over for TJ Edwards, who is hurt right now, and he can really formulate and be possibly one of the best pieces that the Chicago Bears ever grabbed, along with another piece that I'm talking about later on to make up for Tremaine Edmonds, who the Chicago Bears just gave an opportunity to go ahead and find another team. So knowing that Tremaine Edmonds is able to find another team, that's the big guy, 6'4", right? Here's Jacobs. He makes up for the smaller guy, which is in Edwards. He was 6'2", I believe, or something like that. So overall, Jacob Rodriguez, he has a great, great resume himself. Him and his wife is actually in the military, so that's actually a great thing. It's kind of cool to hear that. It's kind of strange that he's actually married so young, but overall, it's great to see that, you know, he's determined to know and do exactly what he's supposed to do out here. He's a great talker. A lot of people were talking to him today in the combine. He has some great strengths. When it comes down to his weaknesses, I will say this. When I was looking at his tape, he does kind of disappear when he's blitzing. He does just a little bit on the line. You know, you can kind of make him disappear, but that's why you get the help of others to help him out. And don't forget, he was just playing with David Bailey. You get what I'm saying? He's playing with players like David Bailey or Romello Height. There's so many dynamic players around him that, you know, it works out for him. So we're going to see exactly how it goes if the Chicago Bears end up picking him at linebacker for that second pick. Now, also looking at the Chicago Bears, one thing that I realized was that we were getting, if we were going, and which I hope we're looking to shore up that linebacker spot at this point in time, it may be going for safety at this point in time just to kind of get one of those top ones, but I have an answer for that coming up soon. Jake Golday, he drops down to the Bears a lot in the second round at this point in time. I feel as though if Jacob Rodriguez, the first pick that I was going for in the second round, is already scooped up earlier by another team, potentially, you know, Cowboys or whoever. You know, Cowboys like to get good linebackers, great linebackers, that is. Jake Golday would be right there. He is actually projected to be higher than Jacob Gonzalez for a lot of reasons. His size alone, presence. This right here, Bears fans, look at him. This is Brian Urlacher 2.0. 2.0 right here. Now, I understand at one point, Bears fans, if you remember the history, Hunter Hillemeyer, I believe that's his name, Hunter Hillemeyer. We thought that he was going to be the second coming. We thought he was going to help out with Urlacher. He was all right. This kid here, he has presence. Man, oh man, he has presence. Speed, sideline to sideline. It's going to be crazy if the Bears actually are able to obtain a player like this in Jake Golday. Trust me, we're going to be checking out his tape. We're definitely going to be looking at him in the combine this coming week. And as a quick honorable mention, I will say TJ Parker has been scouted towards going towards the Bears. I'm definitely interested to see exactly what he has out here. Him, Hunter, McDonald. There's going to be a lot of like-sized people. He's definitely on the more smaller side. He's about 260. The rest of them boys are easily 300. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what he can do with his speed. I kind of see him being a Micah type of situation in a pocket. They might use him at outside rusher, kind of at the edge situation. I don't necessarily see him going interior too much because of his size, but you never know. TJ Parker might be able to do some things, but him as an edge option potentially for the Bears would be nice. And I guess that would have to do with the first overall pick in the first round, but this is just an honorable mention. I do have to put Parker out there for a potential to drop to us. And you know what? I definitely wouldn't mind it. Bears fans, from looking at his tape, you wouldn't mind it either. Now, moving on to the safety position, I've understood that Brisker is looking for his money, and he's owed his money. But at the same time, Brisker wasn't able to stay healthy a lot of times on the Chicago Bears, and the Bears might feel like his health is not necessarily going to stay up compared to the price tag, right? And I don't know if he's necessarily going to take a reduction in his check, because he knows it's not that often that you're deserved a check. So Brisker might not be a Chicago Bear anymore. That would be sad to a certain extension, big time. So if that is it, I believe at this point in the draft, third pick on, we're now looking at a safety somewhere in between here. So with that pick, I have looked at a couple players here, and I think South Carolina's Jalon Kilgore would be a fantastic addition for us. His size is great, compact, just muscular build, and he is on it every single time. Hard-hitting athlete. He makes sure that he gets to the ball and he dominates every single time. His reading skills are phenomenal. I'm loving it. And especially when he's inside the box and he's able to actually penetrate the line there and get into that running back space and kind of disturb the way that the quarterback is looking at things. There's so many levels to Kilgore that I've seen at this point in the draft for the Bears to get him that I believe he would be a great addition to the Chicago Bears. So hopefully Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson, whoever is in the scouting department can go ahead and check into this and look into Jalon Kilgore and just pay attention. You know, during the combine, hopefully he steps out enough and they can kind of look at him and say, hey, mind of, you're right. Mom gang is right. Let's go ahead and get Kilgore. Also, as we're talking about safety, we have Arizona's Genesis Smith. Genesis Smith is, man, I was just talking about a hard-nosed hit stick player. This dude right here, Genesis, he different. He's definitely different. His attitude is one thing that I'm really liking, man. He's able to bring a lot to the team with his attitude. And him and Kilgore kind of give me that Brisker feel of they'll show you more than they'll tell you. But at the same time, I did see a little bit of, how should I say, in Genesis, you know, so it would be nice to get Genesis as well. I'm looking forward to seeing their production throughout the draft. There's going to be a lot of different things when it comes down to looking at these safeties. What I'm looking forward to those safeties actually being more man beaters, quote unquote. You know, if you're out there against somebody that's speedy, are you able to keep up with them and then execute? Or are you kind of just giving them space, working the zone, and hoping that you can jump the ball without getting burnt already? Just going to see exactly how this is, because realistically, I see Genesis, if he gets anywhere close to a 4.4, sky's the limit for this guy. Sky's definitely the limit for whatever team grab him. In Chicago Bears, this could definitely be a safety option for us. Going down the rabbit hole here, we're going to go ahead and go through these a little bit quicker just so that you all aren't watching too much, blah, 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 blah. But realistically, I got film and tapes that we're going to go ahead and go over ourselves during the live streams. And of course, we're going to have it recorded here. So let's go ahead and get through this portion. This is another safety here that has been able to execute. I do actually see him kind of like Cooper DeJean a little bit. Hidden gem, someone that's actually able to, and it's not just because of what he is. I see Cooper DeJean. I actually see his play style is actually like Coop. And if you want to put it on another alternative side for someone else, you can possibly say he plays slightly, okay, not completely, okay, but slightly. He gives me, Bears fans, just me, hear me out, Mike Brown. I don't know why. I'm looking at his tape and I'm seeing Mike Brown in this kid. And I'm like, why do I see Mike Brown? It looks a little weird. Y'all can let me know, Bears fans, down in the comments below. If I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But it's going to be a nice conversation we're going to have about this kid. And then moving on with the next pick, I see that the Chicago Bears need to pay attention to the running backs. The running backs are going to go big time in this draft. I've been paying attention to a few running backs, and Jonah Coleman is one of those running backs. I believe the Bears at this point in time, if they're able to get those last couple picks already, get themselves a safety, get themselves defensive tackle, get themselves a linebacker, go ahead and get yourself a running back. We need to focus on running back. Kyle Nungai is a great bruiser. He gets you some yards. DeAndre Swift, I'm happy. He's able to do some things with a good line, but at the end of the day, we need more production. Caleb needs to have a well-rounded team around him, and the running game just isn't doing it right now. It's just not executing as much as they need. It's not moving the ball or shifting the line enough to make teams have to worry enough. You know what I'm saying? So overall, Jonah Coleman will be a great addition to the Bears if he ends up getting on the Bears. Now, I understand he's definitely tiny. He's a small guy. He is. He definitely is. So that's why I'm kind of wary of this pick overall, but the next running back will be a great addition as well. But Coleman is shifty, man. He's got the what do they call it? The joystick or whatever, not truck stick. Man, like he got shakes. He's a little elusive, so it'd be nice to see him, but he's definitely small. And for my top pick at running back for the Chicago Bears to go ahead and grab is Roman Hemby. Everyone's sleeping on Roman Hemby. Did you just see what he did for Indiana? Stop playing. And then have him ranked so low? Stop playing. Love the size, love the stature. It's basically DeAndre Swift. We're going to go ahead and swap him out. But he can move. He can get around targets. His vision is great. And he does not instantly run behind people's back, how we've seen DeAndre Swift do that a lot. He's patient. He lets the holes develop and then crack straight through. He doesn't just try to make a hole himself. It's kind of weird. Let your offensive line make your holes for you. DeAndre Swift had an issue of running behind his right guard and his left guard a lot, and they didn't even open up the hole just yet. So it was an issue. Hopefully we can get that fixed with Hemby. And at the end of the day, the Bears running game is still going to be top 15 easy next year. Even though we have the subtraction, I should say, of Eric Bieniemy as our running backs coach, I see our running game really changing and doing something big. When it comes down to Ben Johnson's play calling, sky's the limit. Heading on through these picks, we got the Bears able to look at the edge. I know that Montez Sweat has been looking for a friend. He's been looking for Austin Booker to show up. Austin Booker hasn't necessarily been show up how, we all needed him to. He's still a lovely asset. I can't wait to see exactly what he does this year with us. So without saying anything, we're keeping Booker, period, point blank, unless he's a trade asset, maybe. But moving on, we're going to get Romello Height. Hopefully, everybody, keep your eyes on Romello Height. He's a part of that dynamic team with David Bailey, Jacob Rodriguez, and himself, along with Lee Hunter on that team. So this is going to be an elite line. I think if the Bears were able to get Lee and Height on this team with Sweat on the other side, and then you got Jacob right behind that being a nasty coverage linebacker, stop playing. Sky is the limit with that type of team right there. And the way that we can get them is super easy because they're projected so far and in between that it's super easy for the Bears to get it. And I do have a dialogue right at the end of this so you can see all these draft picks perfectly how I want the Bears to pick during the mock draft. Timestamps are below if you all are looking for things. If you are still here at this point in the video, definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you all being here. Let's continue. Moving on, if this player happens to drop, it would be interesting. Christian Miller, he's been mocked at as going as high as, you know, a good 5 to 10 in some drafts, and then he's been mocked way low 40s, 50s, and then even out of certain rounds. Don't really know. We're gonna have to see what Christian Miller has. He does have a better body than most of these guys, I'll say, his frame wise, but at the end of the day, he does have a lot of question marks. Georgia boys, they're always great. Georgia always makes sure that they throw in some of the best players ever. So looking at how Georgia, Texas Tech, Miami, the U, it's gonna be crazy to see this draft right now, the combine, I should say, overall. It should be pretty good. If not, oh boy. So Christian Miller might be available for the Bears to kind of snag up at some point or another, but you never know. Now moving on to another player that I think the Bears could possibly look at, underrated player that we're all trying to see exactly what he has, LT Overton. He's going to be one of those top edges that moves, but then he also might not be a top edge that moves. There's a lot of defenders and offensive players that aren't going to be in the combine. So to have Overton here amongst a lot of these other players coming up that I am going to go ahead and put on this list, this is their opportunity to really stick out, you know, not just move that, you know, that proverbial needle ahead, but also make sure that they can measure themselves to the next person. I think the combine is great for everybody. So I think everyone should be doing the combine if you're not for sure a target. And then even some of those top quarterbacks and stuff like that, I believe they should go ahead and just put your numbers out there so that you can have your measurables to everyone else. With people not, you know, participating in these combines, we don't have any measurables. On to the pro day, right? But Overton is definitely one of those dudes that we can keep our eye on later on today. Because there should be the draft. This video should be dropping later on today. That's what I mean. Anyway. Moving along to the Bears' other needs. Right now, the Bears have other needs on the line. Ozzie Trapillo was just hurt at the end of the season, and we might not have him all season long. To a certain extent. And we've already had line issues with Braxton Jones being back there, so that means we need an option for Braxton, and we also may need, big time, sad to say, an option for Ozzie at this point in time. Ozzie was just getting in there. He was a rookie himself. The rookie, not rookie anymore, but Kirian Amagaji, I think he's a failed project for Ryan Poles. He definitely tried to make that kid do something, but it doesn't look like that kid has any drive, doesn't have any real care in him. He kind of like a Jake Cutler feeling I get from him every time he opens his mouth. It's kind of weird. So with that, I believe the Bears should go ahead and move on and keep them big. Keep the offensive line with some huge dudes. Ozzie Trapillo, I believe, is 6'7", 6'8", something like that. So why not? Let's go ahead and keep that line ridiculously oversized. Austin Barber, I checked him out. Great technique. His feet overall get a little stuck in the mud, but overall his hand movement's pretty good. Placement, arm length is good. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Bears possibly grabbing him within this draft, or just we all can pay attention and see what he does, and possibly he could just go to a great team in general. And that's kind of the same thing that I'm feeling with Markel Bell, exactly the same thing. He actually got bullied a lot. He's 6'8", 260. I think if the guy was to cut maybe 15 to 20 pounds, he'd be able to do a little bit more. But during the Senior Bowl, boy, oh boy, I was like, he's 6'8"? He's getting pushed around. But it does show that he's standing up too quick, and there's a few other technique issues that he may have. So Markel Bell is going to be one of those that we pay attention to, and especially than this next player. Actually, matter of fact, sorry. What I said about Markel Bell and getting beat in the Senior Bowl, it's not about Markel Bell. It's actually about this player. Demetrius Brownover. Boy, oh boy, he got bullied. Boy, he got bullied. Billy Bob Billy bullied. Bully Bob Billy bullied. Bullied. and he's 6'6". I was like, what the hell is happening here? Why is he getting bullied? But he was going against some top talent out there during the Senior Bowl, so let's see what his measurables are. Let's see exactly what he could do against some of this top talent later on today during the Combine. And hey, possibly, you never know. For the Chicago Bears, this could be a great addition for us to have behind Ozzie Trapillo when Ozzie comes back. And then right now, he could probably fill in the things for Ozzie to possibly, you know, help us out a little bit on that side. But we will have to see, because this kid, man, that Senior Bowl was... ugh. And when we're talking about additions for the Chicago Bears, I feel like Colston Loveland was a beautiful addition. We had our Rome Odunze situation. I don't even believe the Bears will go for wide receiver this year, so I do not have them. I'm not mocking them to grab any wideouts at this point in time unless they choose to give up DJ Moore. Then, yeah, we're going to go ahead and talk about it. But even then, we got Walker and so on and such. But anyway, DJ Rogers would be a great addition to the Chicago Bears to back up and actually take over for Smythe, I believe. 81, number 81 for the Bears. But basically, he can take over for the Bears. Him, Colston, and Komet can all be triple threat. Triple threat in the jumbo package. I do see him having a couple of issues when it comes down to a little bit of his route running tree. But overall, he does have a lot of upside, you know, at this point, compared to every other tight end available at this point in the draft, because this is with the Bears' later picks. So we're looking at these players in the order of, if it was later picks, this is what the Bears should do. We're definitely not going to grab these guys, DJ, with number 25. I just want to make sure the guy in the back understands that, because I could see somebody's getting confused here. And of course, it wouldn't be right if I didn't add him, man. Apparently, this guy has been moving up the charts. He has my name, because that's actually one of my not said one of, that's my last name as well. So he's family. He's family. He's a Murdoch, right? But Red Murdoch out of Buffalo, he's nasty when he's hitting the running back, when he's hitting the quarterback, when he's hitting wide receivers and tight ends. He's not necessarily that ferocious, but if he's hitting that running back and he's hitting that quarterback, he's hitting them like they owed him church money. You feel me? And he's definitely making sure he's collecting for the churches and the ushers. You feel me? So looking at what Red Murdoch has to do for the Combine would be nice to see exactly what he has, measurables and everything. The Bears could possibly grab him. He's a linebacker that is moving up the charts, but I will say personally, the Bears should, and I'm hoping will, grab Jacob Rodriguez with their second pick, if not Jake Golday, if they're available. And then Red can kind of be the extra, that type of situation. But Red is going to be one of those players that I'm happy he brings the name Murdoch into the league, and then hopefully when my son gets older, he can continue that tradition. And speaking of linebackers with presence, I told you all earlier, I wanted the Bears to get a linebacker for Jacob Gonzalez to have right next to him, because Jacob Gonzalez is basically replacing TJ Edwards. And this guy here, Eric Gentry, would replace the player that we're letting talk to other teams right now, Tremont Edmonds. And that's what I'm looking forward to. This guy has that presence and the size. He's a little lanky. He doesn't necessarily have the best man defense, but overall, I could see him learning from Dennis Allen's defense, learning things right now the proper way to then become something way better than Tremont Edmonds ever was. So it's going to be interesting to see what he has in the Combine. But the thing about the Combine is it has a lot of holes in grading these linebackers, because I really think they should add a few more drills in general for the offense and defensive side. So it's going to be interesting to see him during his pro day and see what he chooses to do on drills and things like that, especially he's a USC linebacker. That would actually be pretty cool for that UFC linebacker to eventually be a leader. Then you have a UFC linebacker, UFC quarterback on Chicago Bears leading us down. It's kind of cool. It is, I'm not going to lie. They would have that kind of chemistry school thing, you know. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. And continuing the train, as you can see, we're going with linebackers. There may be a few linebackers available, but like I said, linebackers are going to fly, okay, people? So if we still see we need a linebacker And this guy is still here, and possibly with the second overall pick, because like I said, linebackers are flying like crazy. So if we really see linebackers just go, Bears need to do something. We can go ahead and pick up Pittsburgh's Kyle Lewis. He was a great player. I like what he was doing, but he is small. He is definitely small, because when they list you at 5'11", they're trying to give you something, right? Usually. He's about probably 5'10", soaking wet. So realistically, Jacob Rodriguez would be the way better pick at the second overall pick, but we'll have to see. As a Bears fan, I don't see this happening. I really do see Kyle possibly be one of those later picks, or possibly not even be drafted. But overall, I do think we got to pay attention to him during this combine. This combine is going to be interesting. It's really going to do some moving and shaking of some players. I really feel we got to pay attention to these guys. And of course, certainly not the least, but definitely the last, Bud Clark. This would be a nice addition for the Bears if we happen to grab him as a safety. Our safety options I've already mentioned earlier in the video, and I feel like Bud Clark is one of those players that can also fill in that role. But he has a lot of deficiencies in his game at times. I do see him getting plotted on at different times in his game in the NFL. But overall, I think, once again, just like I felt with a couple of these other players and just in general on defense, Bud Clark is one of those dudes. Dennis Allen can really, really, really change and make something amazing out of him. So he's already a great player from TCU. We're just going to have to see exactly how he does in this combine. If Bud Clark can see himself running a good 4.4, if he mess around and runs a 4.3, he's shooting up the draft charts. Guaranteed. Mark my words on that one. All right, and real quick, y'all, let me make sure I say this. I got Romello Height back up on the screen because I want y'all to understand something, Bears fans. Romello Height, if I didn't bring him up earlier, which I should have, but let me make sure I say it here. I definitely see him as a edge we need to pay attention to. You're going to see right after this what point in the draft I need to see us grab Romello Height if he's available, because he can be in sync with Lee Hunter and Jacob, and they can kind of just grow together through college to the NFL, so on and so forth. People are sleeping on this kid. I understand his play recognition isn't there, and he's definitely small. We had a project in Austin Booker, okay? Austin Booker didn't have the best defensive coordinators behind his back, right? And he's just now getting Dennis Allen. I think that with Romello Height actually getting Dennis Allen behind his back and helping him out, sky is truly the limit, okay? Just, he's raw. He's got the ability to really make a mess inside of there. It's just at times he's so small that, I wouldn't say so small, but since he's 240, you got all these 350, 300 plus dudes. At times he kind of gets bounced around, right? But overall, he's chaos when he needs to be. So this would definitely be a project for us, but I would love to see Romello Height as a Chicago Bear, because this will show that we're looking for now and later when it comes down to things. And then we can possibly get a free agent to clean up any other holes in the Chicago Bears franchise. All right, Bears fans, this is the order right here. The first mock draft. I decided to just do one this year. I did a couple of them last year. This mock draft right here is going to be interesting. We're going to do one more after the combine, of course. But as you can see here, with certain players being off the board, I decided to go with Lee Hunter with our first overall pick. Well, not first, our first pick number 25. Also between Jacob Rodriguez or Jack Golday. That would definitely work out for us. Third pick, Jalon Kilgore, all day, every day. We'll get him in the third round, hopefully with pick number 89. Fourth round pick 129th. I believe that would be the time to actually look at the running backs, because all the running backs are going to go. And that's just from a lot of the simulators that I've seen, and just from how teams are looking at it too. There's not a heavy running back class. Let me repeat that. But the ones that are here will go very point blank. So at that time, I think we should go ahead and get Hemby with pick 129. And after that, in the fifth round, that's when I said we should go ahead and check out Romello Height, get him on the edge, and just get him, taken care of. Austin Booker and Montez Sweat kind of take him out back and let him understand how it is to be a real man. Go chop some wood. You know what I'm saying? Go kill a couple birds or something. No, I'm just playing. But overall, just make sure that he can get his size structure and his strength overall. He does need to build up more muscle mass when it comes down to Romello height. But overall, I'm seeing some great things from the height just in college alone. So I'm hoping that it works out for the Bears or whatever team he does go to, because he's going somewhere. Trust me. But he may not get drafted, which would be kind of weird. But it is what it is. And also moving on, like I said, I wanted to make sure I shored up that defense. So I made sure that we made up for the size that we were losing with Tremont Edwards. And we went with Eric Gentry because size, everything, as I said earlier. And with that last pick, Devin Easton. Devin Easton is a player that I did not even put on the board. Why? Because it's a player that I don't even think all of y'all are paying attention to. He's the last defensive tackle rated in this combine, but I got a feeling just by looking at his tape alone, this dude is a bruiser. He is nasty, but there's a lot of issues that he has. He's kind of a bull rusher at times. Doesn't necessarily have the biggest bag when it comes down to moves as a defensive lineman. But overall, I'm looking forward to seeing what Easton has. And guess what? This could be an easy grab for the Bears if people want to go ahead and keep not thinking about him. We can make something out of this team right here. And so looking at this team here, this is the Chicago Bears team for 2026 on to 2027, hopefully within this draft. You let me know in the comments below how you feel as Bears fans. This has been Mind on Bears, a beautiful Bears podcast, man. I'm looking forward to doing more episodes. I will have a Chief fan on here, Rob44, and so many more people as guests, just talking about their teams and so on and so forth. Look forward to that. We will do a joint mock draft, so that's going to be interesting. He'll be able to have his Chiefs and I'll have my Bears. And until next time, it's been that dude, the one and only Mind of Murdoch. Bear down, everybody. Let's get it.